All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Investment Training Series. This is week 4 in our 4-week intensive. We've been learning and downloading a lot of information to prepare ourselves so that we can do our first flip. Tonight's presenter is Arlene Price. She's the CEO of KeySmart Mortgage. She's a funder extraordinaire. She's a master mortgage professional that will help take you and your business to the next level. She'll explain to you how to get your deals funded, how to get your buyers funded. And my prayer is that you all would build a relationship with her as I have done so that we can stay consistent and stay on track with our goal to get all of you in your first deal and done by the end of April. And so Arlene Price, the floor is yours. You're free to unmute yourself. You have the next hour and 15 minutes, after which you're done. We'll have questions and answers, and then we'll have the second half of our training, and we'll close out and prepare for Thanksgiving. All right?
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you. Well, good evening, and thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. So I really like to start off with a show of hands in terms of where everyone is in terms of buying a home or purchasing investment property. So my understanding that this is an investment group. So does everyone here already own their home? So we got a couple of people yes and a couple of no's.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the best ways to get started as an investor, as far as I'm concerned, and I've been in the business, I've been originating loans for more than like 22 years. So let me give you some information about myself first. I'm a loan officer, and that's all I do full time. So I help people get into homes. I guide them, with their credit scores. I tell them what's needed. I work with about 46 different lenders. And
Arlene, hold on a second. Somebody has a television or a radio or something on?
Hold on, let me see. Let me check on my end. Let's see.
I was getting ready to say that. I was just typing that in the chat.
I was hearing something. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, because I have on a headset, so I don't know if you're hearing everything on my behalf, or because I have on a headset so that, because I do have some grandchildren in the background, so that we wouldn't hear them and vice versa. So do you guys hear any children running around?
No, we don't hear children, but definitely hear. Well, I just heard somebody say something.
Yeah, we can hear children, but we were like, it really sounded like the TV or something was up loud.
Yeah, television on, and it sounded like some little one.
Okay, yeah, so I got my headset on because I've got my grandchildren here, and they're here for the Thanksgiving and the weekend. So
okay, beautiful.
Yeah, so hopefully they're 2 years old and 3 years old, so they're really busy. But I got my daughters here, so she's gonna keep them distracted.
Okay, go ahead.
So what I was saying is that I've been originating loans for over 22 years, and that's pretty much all that I do. I assist people, first-time home buyers, and I work with several investors, and I work with move-up buyers and stuff as well. And then I assist people with their credit and credit repair. So I'm not a credit repair company, so to speak, but I am able to read the credit report and tell them what's needed in order to get the score that they need. And we do have a system. So what I work with is that we can rescore somebody's credit in 5 business days once they do what I tell them to do in order to get the credit score to increase. I found that most of my buyers this year has basically been buying investment properties, but it's been investment properties, primary resident. And we want to use those type of properties because, one, you can get in with little to no money down. You can use the grant programs, and you can also use, you can use funds from a family member. You can get a gift. So purchasing up to 4 units, and I just closed on one last week where I had a guy who bought a 4-unit building, but he must live in one of the units, and he was able to get in with 3.5% down, where he got most of his down payment as a gift. And then if you get most of your down payment as a gift, then you can get the seller, and that's kind of hard right now, but the goal is to get the seller to pay your closing costs. And you can literally come to the table with little to no money because of the tax credits that you receive on the properties as well. So that's one of the best ways to actually get into your investment property. And then once you're there, and because I use FHA financing for that, then you want to get into that program. You have to be in that property for at least a year. Then from there, you can start buying other properties because you can use the assets or the money that you've saved from the rental income because technically your tenants are paying your rent. They're paying your mortgage payment. So you could be saving your money, and then you can buy your next piece of property. You want to buy a property that you can fix and flip, or you can buy a property that you want to retain, because if you want to be a landlord and continue to, rent the property, rent it out to other people. So it just depends on what your goal is. The other thing that we kind of look at, and here's three things that the underwriters look at. They look at asset, income, and credit. Those are the three most important things. Let's start off by looking at the assets. So the assets is, the underwriter wants to make certain that you're in a position, one, that you can pay the down payment or the closing costs if needed, and then two, that you can make the next month mortgage payment. And then in some cases, you might have to have reserves. And like that 3 to 4 unit, they are requiring that you have reserves. And what they mean by reserves is the principal and interest and then taxes and insurance on the property. So you don't have to bring it to closing, but you must have it in your bank account. So you want to make certain you do have at least a few $1,000s, because they're looking at assets. I do have clients that are coming in trying to buy homes, and they literally have no money saved, but we put them on a plan and say, in 3 to 6 months, this is what needs to happen in order for you to be able to purchase this property, because the underwriter wants to see that you have money in the bank. If you have a 401k, that's huge. That's a great asset. You have to have the ability to be able to pull money out if needed in your 401k. You can also have it as reserve assets as well. The other thing is, in terms of assets, is knowing that you're going to get a gift. So the person that's going to give you the gift has to verify, be able to provide documents to show that they're in a position to actually give you the gift money. So we will be requesting one a month's bank statement from that person who's giving you the gift. And it has to be an immediate family member. And these are the conforming loans that I'm talking about. So I'm gonna hit on a couple of loans. So you guys might get your paper and pencil out, and I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions afterwards. So if you can save all your questions to the end, that would be great. So that's the asset part. The other one is income. We have to verify that you have income consistently and that you have worked for 2 years on your job. Doesn't have to be the same job, but they primarily want you to be in the same line of work. In today's market and economy, you might not be able to be in the same line of work just because of what's happening, with the COVID and all of that. So you may have to come out of a restaurant, you might have to go into a hospital. But if we can verify that you've been working for 2 years, then we will use that in terms of income. Let me have them to quiet down. Can you guys quiet down just a little bit, because I'm talking to people. Okay, Saskia will do that for you. Okay, I apologize, yeah. So that's the income. So I do have clients that have several jobs. So you might have a part-time job as well. I won't be able to use that income unless I can verify that you had that part-time job for 2 years also. So if you have a part-time job and a full-time job and you've been doing them both for 2 years, then I can definitely use that income. Another source of income I could use would be child support, alimony, Social Security, or pension. All of that's calculated also as income. So if you have a family member or a co-borrower that has that type of income, if you have that income as well, we can utilize that. The other income that we're dealing with more so now is self-employment income. We have so many people that are self-employed. Self-employed, we also still has to use 2 years of tax returns. And we have to take a look at your 1099. And then we do want the company to be actually registered. So I will have to have documentation to show that it is a legal company. So those are the income. And then credit. Previously, we were able to originate and close loans with a 580 credit score. Due to the COVID, the credit score has increased. We're now able to get into homes with a 620 credit score. So that's still not too bad. Most of the banks and other lenders, you're required to have a 640. But I can actually close out loans with a 620 credit score. So those are the three most important things in terms of a conforming loan. Now, when I say conforming loan, we're talking about Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, the regular loans that's backed up, by the government, FHA. And these loans have the conforming interest rate, the marketable rates. And right now we're looking at rates being at like 2.75, 2.85, 2.99. Those are the type of rates you get with conforming loans. I do have programs with non-conforming loans, and most of those are for investors. Those are fix and flip loans. Those are rehab loans. Those are loans for self-employed people. We have bank statement loans where we look at 12 months, 24 months of bank statements. Those are for the self-employed people who don't file their taxes or are taking a huge loss on their taxes. So we take a look at your bank statements for the last 2 years, and I add up all of the deposits for the last 2 years, and then I divide that by 24 months, and I use that as your monthly income. However, those type of loans require a higher credit score and a higher down payment. So we're looking at like a 680 credit score for that, and then a down payment anywhere from 20 to 25%. We have the fix and flip loan, and I have a couple of investors that use those loans. They buy the property. They know they're not going to keep the property for no more than 6 months. Their interest rate starts at like 9.99. They're only required to put 10% down. They give them the rehab money. However, they have to be completely out of the loan in about 6 to 12 months, just depending on the term we agree with. So those are some of the types of loans. I offer VA loans for veterans. VA is 100% financing, no money down. You'll get the seller to pay the closing costs. Now, we also have VA rehab loans, but those are primary residence homes. So you won't buy those properties as investment and fix and flip unless you buy that property and stay in there for a year and then decide to go buy another piece of property using another type of financing and rent that VA property out, and that will be an investment property for you as well. So I know I said it a lot. I can answer a lot of questions. I've got a lot of products, a lot of programs. I don't want to give you too much right now. I want to answer some questions that you all may have, and then I can continue to go on based off of your question.
Hi, Arlene. I have a question. If you were, let's say you wanted to go in with a friend or family member as far as getting your first investment property, what would that look like as far as assets and income? I know that would they be combined? How does that work? If two people came together to start to purchase one, what does that look like?
Okay, so let me make certain I understand the question. So if you had two people, family members, friends, whatever, and they wanted to buy a property and they wanted to buy is it an investment property or primary residence?
We're going to say investment.
So they want to buy investment property. So we will use both of their income, both of their assets, and both of their credit reports. So we will pull them individually if they're not married, and then we would add them all together, and we would also calculate all their debts as well, because we look at the debts also. We have to take that into consideration. Okay. So yes, we would add them both together. It was like you and I buying some property. You would use all of my income, all of my assets. I would use all of your income, all of your assets. I would look at my credit, at your credit, and then the underwriter works with the lowest credit score. So whoever has the lowest credit score, that's how they would base it on down payment and the interest rates.
Okay, so even with the credit, it's not a balance. They look at the lowest.
They look at the lowest in terms of the two different people. So when they run the credit, we run 3 bureaus for each person. Like they'll run 3 bureaus for me, they'll run 3 bureaus for you. And they will take my middle score and they will take your middle score. If my middle score was lower than you, then they're going to base the whole file scenario based off of my middle score.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Charlotte, did you have a question? No.
Not at this time. I'm sorry, I'm having internet problems and I got cut off. So your whole presentation I just about missed. So I'm gonna have to catch the recording, but I don't have anything at this time.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone else with a question or would like for me to talk on certain topics or?
Hi, Arlene. I have a question. The flip, you said there's such a thing as a flip loan.
Yes, fix and flip.
That is just if you're interested in flipping a property.
That's
and
correct.
You said that it's a 9.9% interest rate.
Right. So now let's talk about flipping properties, because you can buy a regular property and you can, rehab it and fix it up and you can sell it in 3 months or so. You can fix that as well. So the financing, the one I'm talking about is a fix and flip with the rehab, meaning that you're taking a rehab loan, rehab funds with it to combine it with the purchase price. But if you have your own resources in terms of the funds to fix the property, you can keep it for as long as you want, and you can purchase it with regular conventional financing, and then you can flip it, you can sell it. However, the next person who's buying it, it has to be seasoned for at least 6 months. But yeah, you can definitely, you can fix it and sell it right away. But if you're taking out a rehab loan with a fix and flip, then after 6 months or so, then you need to be able to have paid that loan off. So they basically want you to have sold that already. And those interest rates are higher because you're taking the funds to repair the property as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to have information on? FHA, purchasing a 1 to 4 unit, commercial. Is anyone interested in purchasing commercial property? Awesome. So you with a commercial property, for the most part, you're required to put 30% down. We also finance mixed use. We finance churches. It's just a lot of different. It just all depends on what you want to buy.
So
Yeah.
I just completed my commercial construction class this past Saturday, and I'm working on getting my certifications because I'm adding that to my business structure. So, we've been doing residential for 20 something odd years. And so now we're getting ready for 2021 to move into commercial. So I definitely need to learn how to finance these commercial deals, because it's a different animal than houses.
It sure is. It sure is. The appraisal fee is a lot higher. They look at square footage more so than residential. They look at what you're using the property for. They look at who owned the property before. They want to look at the profit and loss, what the goals are. They want to look at in terms of how do you plan to make money with this? What are you going to be putting into that commercial property? So basically a forecast. So yeah, it's definitely a different animal, but it's definitely doable. People are doing it all the time. Yeah, commercial, new construction, all of that.
What about business credit? How can you use that to purchase buildings?
You can use business credit, and you have to go with our non-QM because it's not backed up by Fannie Mae. So you definitely have to use those type of loans that require a larger down payment. You can close in an LLC. They're also looking at your assets, and they're also looking at how long you've been in business and what you're using the property for as well. But those interest rates are a lot higher, and the down payment is a lot higher.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Arlene, I'm not sure if you had already mentioned this before, so please forgive me if I'm asking a question that has already been answered. But for personal credit, what would be the required number?
The minimum credit score now is a 620. It used to be 580, but since the COVID, it's a 620. So, once we're done with this pandemic, it may go back down to 580, but right now the minimum is 620.
With a 620 score, would an individual be able to receive 100% financing, or is that even available still?
So no, with a 620, you can actually get a grant program. And the grant program is, so to speak, is like 100% financing because we give you the down payment, the 3.5% to 4% for down payment. But that credit score has to be a 640.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Arlene, I have another question. I tend to run into the problem of having good credit, but my debt to income ratio is a little off as far as being too high on that end. Is that looked at for like an investment property as well? Are you only looking at assets, incomes, and credit, or are you also, is that debt to income ratio going to be a factor as well?
Okay, so let me answer that in two ways. So one, your debt ratio for conforming, the highest you can go with debt ratio is for conventional 45, and then FHA is about 50-55. And there is a way to get that paid down. But when you go in with an investment property, then you're gonna have to go with a non-QM program. And with the non-QM, how we avoid that is one, we'll take a look at your taxes. We either use your tax return or we'll use our programs that look at your bank statement. where they don't care about your debt, your DTI, because it's basically almost like a stated loan.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions, comments before we go into the next part? All right.
Is there any type of loan in particular anybody want to know more information about? Like, what have you guys been looking at so far? What information have you had thus far in terms of financing?
Well, I talked a little bit about the FHA loan, the 3.5%, and then we talked about conventional loans for those who have good credit and money, and then we talked about hard money for those who want to get involved in the fix and flip thing, because that's what I'm actually developed this group to learn how to fix and flip.
Okay.
Talked about hard money, and we talked about what else did we talk about? I forgot.
We talked about home equity line of credit, seller finance,
And so
203K,
Okay.
and you said conventional, but cash, hard money, home equity line of credit, and seller finance, FHA, and 200 and 203K.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, real good. Okay. Also, let me share that in terms of a seller financing. So let me give you a scenario. If you have a property that a family member has and they need to sell it over to you or get it off their hands, you can also purchase that property with a gift of equity. And basically the equity they have in their home, they can actually transfer it over to you. I just closed a loan last month with that. So that's also a way to use some, financing, just a gift of equity. So no money comes from you at all, which is such a blessing. So that's something to look at also. And then with the 203K, we also have a home style rehab loan. And it's basically just a 203K, but it's with a conventional. So it's still pretty much the same guidelines, but it's just conventional financing instead of FHA financing. Because some properties basically just don't want FHA financing. So if you want to use home style, which is a rehab loan as well, you can utilize that. However, with home style, you're required to put 5 to 10% down. With 203K, you get in with 3.5% down. And then with 203K, you are aware about the streamlined 203K and the full 203K, right? You guys got that information?
No, that's why we have you on here.
Okay. So the streamlined 203K, which is a whole lot easier to work with, is that if you take a 203K loan up to $35,000 rehab money, then all you need is a contractor, licensed contractor. If you have a full 203K, which I'm in the process of a full 203K now, then you need a HUD consultant, which could be expensive, and then you still need the licensed contractor. And that's anything over $35,000. And what I mean by the HUD consultant, they have to be licensed and registered with HUD, and they have to be approved with them. And then most of the time, it's about $500 to even come out to take a look at the property with them.
Wow.
And then you still need the contractors. You need the contractors bid stuff as well. So it's so much easier if you just do a streamline, because you can just get a licensed contractor and they can give you a work write-up for the work, and you can close that in little to no time. So keep that in mind when you guys are working with the 203K loans.
Awesome.
So if you're out looking at properties and you do qualify for FHA and the property needs some work to be done and they say conventional only, just say you want to take out a rehab loan with it and just do a 203K loan with it. Because what 203K is that they come in and they do the work that's required in order for you to start living in there. And so there won't be an issue with you going in and purchasing a property with conventional financing, because you'll just do the rehab work right on the spot.
And you have to get at least 3 bids for the work.
And that's on 203K full, not a streamline.
Okay.
Yep. So up to 35,000, no, you don't have to. You can just get a close friend of yours that's a contractor. Give me a copy of your contractor license. They can tell you how much needs to be done. You can have them to write it up, get an estimate. I'll get that submitted to underwriter, and then we get ready and close.
So
Arlene, I have a question about the home equity line of credit. Is that something that you have to wait until you've been in a home about 7 years to draw on that? You know, to
No,
really,
no, you don't have to wait until you've been in there for 7 years. However, the credit requirement is a lot higher for the equity line of credit. But, and someone may have told you 7 years because that may be how long it might take to build the equity. But if you went into a property and you went in with a substantial amount of equity and there's equity there, then you can take an equity line of credit. The beauty of an equity line of credit is that you only pay interest on the amount that you use, and not, say for instance, you borrow 50,000, but you only use 10 or 15. You're only going to pay interest on the 10 or 15,000. However, they do require a higher credit score, at least 680 to 700 for that equity line of credit. So most of the time what people do is do a refinance, cash out, and pull their money out and put it into the bank and use what they would need versus just an equity line. But with the equity line, you only use, you only pay interest on what you use, and then they issue you checks too, so you can write checks to various things with the home equity line. And you can take that home equity line as well, and you can use that. So I've got people now, investors, who are using that equity line of credit and taking that equity and buying another piece of property with that.
okay.
that's what we were talking about before, gang. Moving to the place where you can finance your own deals. And so for those of you who don't own your own home, this is why it's so important that you look at and consider stabilizing your real estate business by owning your first home, because it's an asset and it
Yes.
gives you a lot of flexibility. A lot of people now, they're talking against it, but I've been doing it for a long time, and I've actually seen the benefits of you owning your own home and paying into that equity position and then being able to draw that down and purchase other property. So don't listen to the gurus who haven't done it. Really consider that.
And here's the thing, you're paying someone's mortgage, so why not pay your own? And a lot of people are afraid to, buy a home because they're afraid of paying a mortgage, but you're paying, if you're renting, you're paying someone's mortgage. It's just paying it to another source of, another entity. You're just giving it to a mortgage company. And the beauty of it, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to have the landlord knocking on your door saying somebody's coming out of town and I need my property, or you can't paint here, or you can't have your kids in the backyard, or you can't, I'm just so done with that. I just can't see it anymore. And I grew up, I was born in Mississippi, but I've been on the West Side predominantly all my life. I lived in Inglewood for about a year or two. And then, unfortunately, we was chased out by what was that, Blackstone Rangers. I don't really know what the story was with that. And then I grew up, went to school and lived on 16th Street. And, we had no idea, but my mom bought us a house, and we've been in the house, and I'm telling you, it's just, I just love it. I just love the freedom, the flexibility, the being able to go in the yard. And you can buy a house, I'm telling you, right now with these interest rates, you can get in the house, your mortgage payment could be $800, $900, $1,000, and you can be in your own home. And you decorate it the way you want. And then if you decide you want to move up, then you can rent that home out. And, and while you're still renting it out or doing whatever, you're building equity. You're building equity. You're leaving a legacy. You're leaving something for your family. So I highly encourage that. Don't be scared. Don't be afraid.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
Launching out, getting stabilized financially, and then being able to make your own moves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you will love it. Once you get out there, you will love it. You will love it. And even if you want to be an investor, I see so many people, they collect and rent, and they're moving, they going to Florida and everywhere because the land, their tenants is paying their mortgage payment or whatever, so they don't have that stress. And listen to this, even if your tenant can't pay it all, most of them are eligible for a Section 8, and Section 8 is going to pay you on time every month, period. So it's a win-win.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions or comments, guys?
I got one more.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I purchased my first home some years ago,
Okay.
a few years ago. So I'm a little sort of kind of familiar with the loan process with the home. And I know that, so my question is, as a first-time home buyer, I got some discounts, right? I
Mhm.
got some special programs and things like that for being a first-time home buyer. What would
Mhm.
that look like? Obviously, I'm not a first-time home buyer again, but what would that look like if I wanted like to purchase an investment property? Are there any programs that would help with anything like that?
Not for investors, no.
Okay.
However, how long have you been in your home? Because you're a
Uh,
first home buyer again after 3 years.
oh, okay. It's been about 4.
So then you can go again as a first time home buyer and you can still take advantage of some of
Oh,
those programs and stuff.
okay.
Yes.
Okay. I did not know. Thank you.
Hmm.
Anybody else? Great time to ask questions.
Great.
What is the stipulations for buying a property, living in it, as primary residence?
You said what are the
As an
stipulations?
investor, so as an investor, I buy a property, can I live in it, or what are the stipulations of living in it as a primary residence?
Okay, so yeah, that's the part I think you missed earlier. So you can buy up to a 4-unit property as a primary resident, and but you have to live in one of the units. And you need to, and if you use FHA finance, you need to live there at least 12 months.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So the owner occupied guys, for those of you who are just getting started in purchasing property, is a very powerful vehicle for you to generate income and knock your first property down. So the scenario we gave last week about the 3-unit and the 4-unit, and using those rental incomes, 1, to pay the mortgage on the property, but 2, to pay you and begin to save money to purchase your next property. If you gave yourself a 3 to 5 year window, you could literally purchase a new property every year for the next 5 years and just retire. One of my guys that worked with me on the police department, y'all probably see a lot of his stuff on Facebook, Jamal King. That's what he did. So he bought the first, I think he bought a 2-flat, and he rented 1 unit to his brother, which covered the cost of the mortgage. So the money that he was not paying for the mortgage, he just saved. And then he went and bought some more and some more and some more. So now he's probably got about, I think he got about 40 units. So if you figure, in the city of Chicago, a 2-bedroom, you could easily pay $1,000 a month. So 40 units times $1,000 every month is the reason why he retired from the police department. He did pretty much the same thing I did. I retired with flips. He retired with rent to own, because he purchases in areas and he rents out to police officers, nurses, school teachers, people that are stable. He just doesn't rent to just, any old Joe Schmo that comes up the street, because he don't want to chase people around for rent, which is why I stopped with rent and I started doing flips. So there are a lot of strategies that you can use, but the owner occupied allows you up to 4 units. It allows you to use the FHA at the 3.5% down. So you can't beat that with a stick, because what you're investing based on what you're going to get in terms of return, you're getting an equity, you're getting monthly cash flow, and you're getting an asset that you can use to continue to repeat that same process over and over again.
Turnkey.
This is not, genius, rocket scientist kind of stuff. It's just mastering a process over and over again. And again, like we talked about in week 2, once you start getting people to come in and pay you rent, then you put them in front of somebody like Arlene, who can help them get their credit, start saving their money, and then you start flipping them into homes that you buy and rehab. So you're building a pipeline through your rentals. So you always have someone that's coming to you that is being prepared to come from rental into purchase. And when you start making that flip money, then that's a whole nother world and a whole nother stream of income. All right, Arlene, I think they've answered all their questions. You can continue.
I wanted to kind of touch on, you're back.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
The internet just snapped off. Like, what?
Yeah, you froze. You just.
Mhm.
I want to talk about HUD properties, and I don't know. I know that Apostle David probably have a HUD list. If not, you might want to get where somebody can get a HUD list because you can buy HUD properties. There's so many ways you could buy properties. You can buy HUD properties, where you can buy properties and you can get in with $100 down.
Mhm.
Or if you're a teacher or you're a police officer, then you can get in and you pay 50% of the property, but you definitely have to buy it off the HUD list. And that list comes from come from banks, and it comes from the realtors have access to that. I don't have access to that, but I'm familiar with it. You can also buy properties because of people losing their home for taxes. So you can buy the taxes, and you can earn property that way as well. I've got people who are doing that and buying properties, and then they share their list with me periodically, and they say these people are selling these homes, but you need to buy the taxes and the certificate or the stamp. However, you need to keep them for a period of time, before you can actually own it. But it's definitely another way and means of owning property as well.
Yeah, that's what I was really listening to as I'm listening to it today. And I'm saying because God has just really blessed us in such a
Mm-hmm.
way, there's no way that we can explain how we've had this house for 8 years with not a steady income that covers everything. So on paper. So that much that I see after listening to everything today. So I'm like, and so, but that's one thing that we were really interested in tax liens before. So it seems like I may have to go back to that. But one thing about it is we live in Pennsylvania. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so with me living in Pennsylvania, this is a tax deed state. So it's one of the, well, I'm pretty sure you already know, one of the few states, in America that you get the deed right when I think 3 months later after you buy after you pay the tax lien off. So now you
Wow.
have to wait that 18 months or a year, time before you can redo the property. So yeah, that was the only thing that I've been listening to. I'm like, we don't have to, we can't explain nothing on paper.
Yeah, but in a case like that, so when you say you can't explain nothing in terms of income, that's what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, so then you would have to use a bank statement type loan, or if you were self-employed, we would have to go that route. But we
Okay.
do have some programs that basically look at your we just have to prove, show that you own a business, you can own real estate business, whatever, and your income is coming that way. And we just pretty much just use the income that you have, that you're bringing in. I've got a client now who owns a beauty shop, and of course she can't show income. She's got money coming here, money coming there, whatever. So we just looking at the last 24 months bank statement and adding all her deposits up.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
Yep. You're welcome. Absolutely.
That's why your business banking account is so essential, guys. That's why we started week 1 with business structure, getting that LLC, getting your EIN, and getting that bank account open, and getting that Dun and Brad number in place so that you can use your bank statements for your business. Even on a personal level, if you pay yourself a salary from your business, from what you're going to be making from the real estate,
Mm-hmm.
you have income coming in,
Yes.
and you can
Yes.
prove that through your bank statement. So it's really key and critical that we don't skip any of these steps, because I'm giving you all of these steps because the real estate gurus are going to tell you can make $1 million a week in real estate with no money down and no credit, and that's just not true. You have to have certain things in place.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff is not magic, but once you start doing it and you start generating income, it's going to put you on a trajectory that working a job just can't do.
Right. I'm in total agreement. Total agreement. And I'm just going to share a little something. It took me years to open up my own bank account. I had been telling a friend of mine, I said, okay, I'm going to open my own bank account. I'm going to start my own business. And I finally did it. And I got my EIN number. The name of my business is Price Team and Associates. And so I pay myself through Price Team and Associates. So I don't use my regular Social Security number. And then I went and I registered, got a Dun and Bradstreet number and everything. And then I said to my friend, I said, okay, how do I get started with business of credit? Because I had so many people saying, oh, you need to pay $1,000, $8,000 and do this, whatever. He said, no, go to Sherwin-Williams, go to Uline, go whatever, and open up. And they immediately approved me to open an account just immediately. And I started building business credit and stuff like that. And so now when I do my taxes, and I have a really close friend who does all of my taxes or whatever, then she showed me how to write things out, what to write out, how to pay myself or whatever to avoid paying all those taxes. And that's, that's what the other race has been doing for years. And so you just gotta step out and you just gotta move forward and you gotta do what he say do and actually just do it and move in it. And I'm telling you, I was just like, why did I wait so long? So now I have my own personal assistant or whatever, and I don't pay her with my personal check. I have my own office. I pay my rent. I pay my rent out of my business account. Everything on my business account. When I go out to lunch or dinner, I pay a check, everything from my business account, because I'm gonna write all of that off when tax season comes.
And that's why Peter Griffin will be on next Thursday for the bonus session to teach you about business taxes and write-offs. Again, you cannot, and this is my opinion, unless you're an athlete, an entertainer, or some type of way out technological creator kind of person, if you don't own a business in the United States of America, it's just nearly impossible to become wealthy. Because
Yes.
the way the system is designed, it's designed to tax you to death.
Yes.
So we've got to have businesses. We've got to build Black businesses. I don't make any apologies about that. I am pro-Black because we have been, for 401 years, pushed out of this arena. And with technology now and our ability to learn things and do things at this level of business, it is high time that we step into this fully and just start making it happen. Even if you don't make $1 million a year, if you make $250,000 a year, you can live like a millionaire.
Yes. Absolutely.
You don't have to spend $250,000 a year. And so setting those goals in place, and I'm going to be sending out some emails for your vision notebooks because those will be due the first week in December. And you have to start thinking and planning the next 5 years of your life out. I told you I'm retiring in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it no more. I'm passing all this stuff over to my son. I'm teaching him how to do real estate. I'm teaching him all of the ins and outs of management and leadership because he's going to have to run all of these companies. But I'm not doing it no more. I'm going to be on a plane. And you can do the exact same thing. There's nothing stopping you. So you do some of these rentals, do 4 or 5 flips a year, and you'll never work for another human being again.
And it's wonderful to have such great freedom. He said he was going to be on the plane. So speaking of this in terms of real estate, and I'm kind of shocked, and then I'm not shocked because, what you put out there in the universe, there's a lot of power in the tongue. I proclaimed that I was going to buy some property in Jamaica maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. Well, December 12th, I'm going now to put my down payment on the property that I'm buying in Jamaica that I'm going to be using for Airbnb.
That's my birthday.
Is it?
December 12th.
How about that? Awesome. Awesome. So yes, I know, right? I'll be on the plane. I'll send you a text. Look at it.
Maybe I might be on the plane with you.
I'll send you a text, but I'm so looking forward to this because listen to this. I'm not just buying this property as a vacation home. It's a 3-bedroom bungalow, and I can get, my minimum is $200 a night. So the 3-bedroom, I can sleep 6 people. And $200 a night, I mean, it's such a great deal. I've already have most of my realtors and mortgage people were lined up as interested in going. Can you imagine how many people that I can actually have? And it's going to be by Montego Bay. It's a gated community. I'm so excited about it. I just can't wait till this pandemic is over so everyone can just take a break, come on down. Yes. $200 a night, bring your whole family. It's only $200 a night. So I know I'm going to stay booked all the time. So that's my turnkey. That's going to be my turnkey.
Absolutely. And and for the price of real estate in Jamaica, you could buy 10 of those.
Right. Absolutely.
I didn't talk about Airbnb in this session, guys, because I really want you guys to focus on the flip so you can get the cash. Mm-hmm. So we talked about rentals and we talk about flipping because with the new president, as they began to mitigate this virus thing and people go back to work, it's going to be a sell-off. So everybody that's purchasing now is going to be a mad sell-off. All the investors I know They're fixing up all their properties and they're getting ready because
Right.
once they mitigate this thing and people go back to work,
Yes.
the sell-off is going to take place.
Absolutely.
If you're an investor in this. These are once in a lifetime moments, guys. These are once in a lifetime moments. So don't let them tell you in the economy, the economy is going down. When the economy goes down, that's where billionaires are made.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else is crying about the economy going down. People like us, that's when we make moves.
Right.
You're already positioning and preparing yourself to start purchasing this property, fixing it, and selling it to the people who are going to be recovering economically. Because a lot of people are going to be getting evicted. A lot of people are going to be having their homes repossessed once they lift this moratorium up.
Right.
So you're going to position yourself. And again,
And come right in and pick it up.
2022, 5 properties will change your life. 5
Right in
properties
and pick
change
it up.
your life.
Mm-hmm. So I would just say, make certain you work on the credit, have the credit strong. And once you have the credit strong, we can work at the different ways in terms of having your income and down payment. You'll be surprised how things come together.
I'm gonna put Arlene's email into the chat so you guys can reach out to her this next week, because this week, of course, is Thanksgiving. And you can start putting the building blocks for your personal credit in place, to get financing in place. She's a brilliant resource.
Thank you for that.
If you start now, you'll meet your goal of flipping your first property or owning your own home by the end of April.
And I'd love to help you with that. I would love to be, because I love it's like, go, be a cheerleader. And I'd love seeing us, especially as Black people, owning property and being able to do the same thing that they do. And not only that, we're helping one another because we'll be helping our community. We build our community.
And so the last part of this, gang, I'm going to be doing, for the month of December, I'm going to be doing 101 financial plans free for everybody that's on this seminar. So I got licensed to do it through Primerica. Some of you all know I sell life insurance, home insurance, auto insurance. I do all the financial planning stuff. I'm working on my Series 6 and Series 63 for 2021 so I can do investments. But I took the course to become a financial planner. So I help people do budgets. So part of my Financial Freedom Homebuyer Seminar is I take people through the process of understanding where their money is coming in and where it's going. Some of you guys make enough money to survive. You just don't have enough financial discipline. So the money you get, you spend, and it's not reproducing. So I want to show you how to take that money and put yourself on a budget and then create your investment plan so that you have that 3.5%. You've already got your LLC done. We already know it's $120. It doesn't cost anything to get your EIN number. And then you can open up a bank account at Chase or a US Bank for $500 because they want your business. So you get 2 of those because you need an operating account, and then you need your tax account. So you need 2 accounts. And then I always encourage people to get a 3rd savings account so you just start putting money in for expansion, because you don't know where you're going to meet people. I meet people all the time, and this COVID has really killed me because I can't get on a plane. Traveling for me, that's my medicine.
That's funny. That's the same thing with me. And I actually left and went out last week and went to New Orleans because NAR had their national real estate conference, but it ended up being online, but it was in New Orleans. And I'm like, I'm going. I'm just like, I'm going to take care of myself, but I'm going.
So you guys just have to mentally prepare for where we're going to be going in this next year. Because you get traumatized when you don't have it and you want it, and there's things you want to do and places you're trying to go, and you're always trying to make it happen. And so the trauma of not having money will always make you believe that there's no money.
Yes.
Let me tell y'all something. There's plenty of money. There's no shortage of money. It's just you got to put yourself in position mentally and business-wise to get what's already out there for you. People are buying homes, people are renting, people are doing the Airbnb. I sold a house to a guy back in March. He owns 6 Airbnbs. He's a 32-year-old black kid, moved up here. He went to HBCU in Atlanta, moved back home, and started doing Airbnb. He rents his rooms out for $80. So he buys 3-bedroom houses that he rents out for $80 a room. He is booked for the next 3 years. And he owns 6 homes. So go figure, do the math.
Yep.
18 houses times $80 a day times 3 years. That's 365 times 3. So that's almost 1,080 days times $80. So you guys can do the exact same thing.
Yep.
So anybody else have any questions or comments? All right. Arlene, is there anything else you want to share tonight?
Not that I can think of right now, because I'm sure I've already did overload. So, I always have a lot of programs and products, but I'm definitely available if they want to call, text, email. I'll answer any questions, any scenario. If you need help with your credit, I'll take a look, tell you what you need to do, how long it should take, what steps to take.
Awesome. So guys, listen, if you need help with your personal credit, please contact her. I put her email in there, arlene.price@gmail.com. Email her tonight, schedule an appointment. If your credit is good and your money is good and you're ready to get financed, let her give you a couple of scenarios to finance your first deal. If you do not own your own home and you want to own your own home, please contact her so she can take you through that process, because you can do it. You can get that place. You can get you a 2 or 3 unit. Again, you can get a 4 unit. You got a friend that you work with that needs to rent a place out. You got somebody at your church that needs to rent a place out. Have them pay your mortgage and fund your future. And while you're helping them do that, you can be helping them build their credit and helping them save their money so that when you do your first flip, you can flip it to one of the people that you know, somebody in your family, single mother with kids that need to stabilize themselves for their children's future. So we're going to talk about all of that. I'm going to send out an email in the morning to give you the scenarios that you need to use to begin to build your business plan, your vision. So we need to talk about that, and then you'll be able to schedule yourself with me for your budgeting, because we need to do that. We can't go into 2021 without a budget.
Excuse me, can I just have one thing clarified? So you said that when you get in the multi-unit properties, that you have to live in it?
You can live in it if you use FHA.
But if you have your own house, how are you going to live in it? That's what I'm kind of, you can't, that's not available if you have your own home.
This is for people who don't own a home. And
but what if somebody wanted to buy it though? They couldn't do that and had a home too?
Well,
yeah, you can buy it.
Home, you can buy property. That's why we were telling you, if you own your own home, you can use the equity in your home and purchase an investment property. That's what we're talking about, the home equity line of credit.
And then you don't have to live in it, you just can purchase it.
Yeah, you can just purchase it and you rent them all out. And that's what we were talking about, the scenario with the $4,000 a month coming in, using 1,000. Remember, we were talking about you take 500 of that 1,000 and you apply it to your principal, and you take your 30-year mortgage and you cut that down to 15 years.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. The name of the game is get out of debt and make as much money as possible.
Right.
And so if you own a home already, we want to pay that house off, but we can also use the equity in that home to purchase, multi-unit properties that are going to pay us every month.
Okay.
You get two 4 units, it's $8,000 a month. That's almost $100,000 a year in income. And again, we're talking with average person in America making $55,000, $60,000 a year. So just waking up, you're making above what people are making who are working 50 and 60-hour, work weeks.
Right.
You're making that just from waking up.
Right.
Okay.
And that's just with 2 4 units.
Right. Okay.
Jamal owns a 24 unit over on 61st and King Drive. He owns a 24 unit building. That's $24,000 a month. That's what some people make all year.
Right.
So we're not here to just give y'all theory. We're here to give you the actual steps. You're on a call with a lady who does mortgages for a living. So she don't get no money if you don't get no mortgage.
Right.
So she wants to give you all of the tools, all of the insight, so she can close that loan, so she can get her check.
That's right. And all your families and friends too. Absolutely.
Once you guys do it, then you'll be able to refer other people. You'll be able to make money, and that pressure will fall off of you. And then as we go into other real estate scenarios and things of that nature, then it'll be second fiddle. Oh, okay. Well, I remember we talked about this in our first session. Oh, now he's pushing this. Okay, let's go. And you'll be ready to go. And then other opportunities that we're doing with new construction, you'll be able to invest in that, because we're doing housing development in Anderson, Indiana. We're working with the mayor's office there. So they closed 2 of the major GM manufacturing companies, and Anderson, Indiana looks like Gary now. And so we met with the mayor, and we're coming in doing residential. They just brought in a corporation, Nestle, just moved to Anderson. So now people are working again. So now we're going to go in and we're going to build homes for them, because there's another company that wants to come, but there are not enough people to live there for this company to come. So we're going to create low-income housing there. We're building them from the ground up, and we're going to move enough people in there from Indianapolis out to Anderson so the second manufacturing company can come in. And the mayor's going to want to be our friend, and we're going to be building houses, low income, medium income, and high income out in the suburbs of Anderson. And so you guys can make money off of that just by investing. You don't even have to leave your house. That's something you could do online, where you can make 30% return on investment from your laptop at home. So these are the things that we're trying to position you guys to do. And we really appreciate you guys walking through this 4-week intensive. We pray that you've learned something. We pray that something has been sparked in you to want to move to the next level. The bonus class are going to teach about business taxes and write-offs, and we'll be dealing with budgeting, helping you get your credit and all of that kind of stuff in place. When you have your one-on-one with me, I'm going to be helping you get your stuff for your business credit in place. She just brought up Uline again, Granger, those 30-day, 60-day net accounts, and all of that kind of stuff, helping you get your business accounts set up, and you'll be ready to go. When we step over into 2021, if you don't spend that $25,000 for Christmas, Black Friday coming up Friday, everybody hand just itching, just sitting on the phone. What Walmart doing? We're not doing that this year. We're going to buy LLC. We're going to open up a business account. We're going to start building our business credit, and we're going to go into 2021 with assets and not liabilities. All right? Everybody good? Awesome, awesome, awesome. Arlene, thank you so much. My people will be contacting you next week. They're going to let you rest this week because the grandbabies are there for Thanksgiving. So we make sure everybody get their turkey and banana pudding and sweet potato pie, collard greens and all that good stuff. And then Monday morning, we're going to be back at it, working for our future.
That's right. Absolutely. I appreciate it. And thank you all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love helping people and guiding people in the right direction, especially people of color. Thank you so much for having me.
Expertise, and we look forward to working with you and purchasing $1 million worth of property next year.
That's right. Absolutely. I'm in agreement.
All right, my people. I love y'all. If you got anything, feel free to email me. I will be sending an email out tomorrow so you can schedule your one-on-ones. And then we'll be working on December for your budget, personal credit, and getting ready to purchase your first property. All right? God bless y'all. Have a great night. Have a blessed Thanksgiving. And I look forward to seeing you all later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.